All right. How we doing? Um, I want to talk about ADOS. And my thing is this. I'm starting to see it as a victim movement. That's really what it is. That's really how it's turning out to be. Um, I think initially, like a lot of people, I had a lot of high hopes for this movement. I thought it was going to lead us somewhere. I thought it was going to be a new beginning. I thought it was going to be a political way for African Americans to, I guess, distinguish themselves politically from other groups, including immigrants and stuff like that, so that their needs and stuff could be better addressed in the political forum. But I just don't. I don't see that happening. For one, I don't see the people who push ADOS. I don't see them being proactive in anything. I just kind of see them kind of just sitting around waiting for something to happen, but I don't see them trying to make something happen. And then another thing is it's not a movement that is designed to improve black people as a group. All right, it's not that type of movement. Um, it's a movement that talks about everything that's been done to black people, but it doesn't tell about everything black people need to do to move forward in the future. And then the people who founded it, Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks, I believe, and I've always believed that they were very questionable people, and I don't think their motives and stuff have necessarily been 100% pure. I think they have their own kind of nefarious agenda that's separate from the interest, the broader, you know, um, overall interest of the black community. And because of that, I can't really trust it. I can't really 100% trust the founders of the movement. Okay, because you know, I don't see this movement as something that's really gonna take us forward and really gonna advance our community. Okay. One of the things, or the main thing you hear a lot of ADOS talking about, okay, is you hear them talking about how African Americans are owed reparations. Okay, how the U.S. government, okay, the historically the United States has exploited African Americans. We were never repaid for slavery. We were never repaid for Jim Crow or the segregation and stuff like that. And they say that because of that, the U.S. government is complicit because they never fully addressed these things. Okay, therefore, um, U.S. government is liable for reparations payments towards African Americans. Okay. And my thing is this. This is my philosophy. Okay. We've heard about this stuff for years. I think all of this is just rehashing of the same rhetoric, okay, in the black community that we have heard for years. Okay, we've heard for years about slavery and reparations and how America exploited us and did us wrong and that whole type of thing. Okay, but what I don't see is I don't see enough Negroes out here trying to build something new, okay, and incorporating the young black people into it. I don't see that. Instead, what I see with this ADOS movement is I see more victimization. Okay, I see more. How should I say it? I said more victimization. Okay, I see more of what is owed to us, but I don't see us talking about what we owe ourselves, and I don't see enough of us trying to give ourselves what we believe we owe ourselves. Okay, they talk about education. Okay, and you're starting to see a number of a movement now for more African-centered schools and that kind of thing, and that's great. That's great, but that's something that needs to keep going forward. Okay, and you need to understand that schools like that are something that only the black community can build for itself. Okay, the government, the U.S. government cannot build those types of schools for you. The only types of schools U.S. government are going to build for you are going to be schools that just give the typical, what they've been giving, the typical, Prussian school system education. But it's not going to be a type of education that's going to really make black kids dominate and really be competitive in the market like that. Okay, so they're not going to learn things about, like, for instance, economics or how real estate works or how capital works or anything like that. In order to have that, you will have to build schools and stuff that on your own that do that teach that. You know what I mean? But I digress. How should I say it? So it's not a movement. ADOS is not a movement that's gonna really innovate in terms of education and stuff like that. Okay, it's not a movement that tells black people that they should build up their own community, which is big on my channel. That's all I've ever talked about ever since I've been on YouTube since 2012. A lot of people don't know I've been on YouTube since 2012. I've had other channels and stuff like that, but I've been making YouTube videos since at least 2012. Okay, and for years and years, I've talked about how black people need to build their own infrastructure, sustain their own infrastructure, build generational wealth, and pass on that generational wealth. Okay, that's what I've talked about. And there's nothing in this ADOS movement that talks about that, and that's a big problem of mine. Okay, that is a big problem that I have with ADOS. Okay, that's a big problem that I have. I don't like how ADOS says almost nothing about black wealth. You know what I mean? I don't like that. Instead, it's a movement that says that, we don't have wealth and we have to get the government to give it to us. That's what ADOS says, and I don't like that, because I feel that black people, as talented as we are, as amazing as we are, as innovative as we are, okay, any movement that we have that's going to be successful, it has to harness our natural talents. Okay, and begging is not a natural talent for anyone. Anyone can beg. Anyone can do that. You know what I mean? That's not a talent. That's not a movement that's going to allow you to use your talent or build up your talent. You see what I'm saying? So that's my problem with it. And it's always this thing that we have, Or we got to go ask whites. We got to go ask them for this. We got to go ask them for that. You know what I mean? We got to go with our hand out. And each time we do this, it happens time and time again with movements like this. Each time we do this, we try to get resources from them or whatever that we feel that we're owed. They always end up duping us somehow. You saw it with the so-called Title IX. Okay, you've seen it with benign neglect after the Civil Rights Movement with Richard Nixon. Okay, every time you think you're going to get something from this government, they find a way to either water it down or undermine it or outright just ignore you and not give it to you at all. That is my problem with movements like this. Okay, and I think that mindset that black people have had historically of going up to whites and going up to these other groups with our hand out, I don't think that has worked for us. Okay, I just don't think that has worked for us. It has failed time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. And my thing is, when are Negroes going to learn? You know, when are Negroes going to learn? Okay? ADOS is just another movement that teaches Negroes to go up to other groups who have no interest in helping them with their handout. That's all it is. That's all ADOS is. It's nothing more, nothing less. Now, I hear the argument, they'll say things like, well, the Japanese got reparations. The Jews got reparations. Okay, this group over here got reparations. That group over there got reparations. The Japan, you know, and that whole type of thing. And my question is this, is that, first of all, my claim is this: those other groups got reparations, but they were successful not because of the reparations. They were successful because those groups had economic models, okay, that allowed them to succeed. Okay, they had whole economic models and stuff, okay, that allowed them to do different things and move in different ways that black folks just are not moving right now. Okay? Okay? And, you know, when you start talking about these economic models, I don't see ADOS talking anything about economic models. Okay, I don't see that. I don't see ADOS trying to tell black people what type of industries they should start or go into, or where they should invest, or where they should go in the world to promote themselves or promote their products. Okay? I don't see ADOS doing that. Because ADOS does not have a plan for that. Okay? It's not a building movement. Okay? It's not a building black person's movement. It's a victim movement. Okay? It teaches black people how to be victims. It teaches them that the country of their birth is their number one victimizer. And it teaches them that all they can do is basically go to the country of their birth and ask for resources, and and ask for monetary resources and stuff from the very same country that they claim is oppressing them and that has disenfranchised them and all this and that. They have these big dollar amounts that they keep on talking about. We need $3 to $5 million per person. Okay, $3 to $5 million per person. Okay, that's basically what they're talking about. All right. But they have no workable plan to get it. They just don't. They just say, okay, we're not going to vote for the Democrats. Okay, fine. You're not going to vote for the Democrats. Okay. But are the Republicans going to give that to you? Do you see Republican legislators lining up to give that to you? Because I don't see it. I know that this white woman who was running for president, she was the one who talked about it a month back. But there was another guy, and you don't even hear black people talk about this guy, but you all need to go Google this guy. Go Google the name Patrick Little. He ran for Congress out here in California last year. He lost. But he was a conservative. I don't even know if he was really down with the Republican Party, but he was a conservative, and I think he ran against the Republican incumbent or whatever. And he was talking about reparations for black people, but he actually made a very good. He was much more logical with his with the way he said it. He said that what Americans should do is they should stop giving foreign aid to Israel and stuff, and they should use that money and give African Americans reparations, payments with that money. And I thought that was a very innovative idea, because at least he was giving a workable plan. Okay, I'm not even saying that, his plan would have worked either, but at least he was, but like I said, I don't hear too many of these ADOs talking about Patrick Little like that. You would think if they was really down with this reparations thing, okay, they would be talking about people like Patrick Little, but you don't hear them talking about Patrick Little. Patrick Little is not even someone that they even have mentioned. Okay. Again, marching, not marching, there's no such thing as whiteness. That's another thing with this ADOS stuff. Okay. ADOS goes along with the idea that white people have this white privilege that they don't have, and because of that, there needs to be some sort of rectification, or they need to rectify all of the wrongs that were done to African Americans over the years. And I've iterated this before. Other groups succeed over black people in America because of their economic model. Okay? You talk about all these immigrants and stuff, and how the immigrants, they get all these tax breaks and all this money. They don't have to pay taxes for 10 years on their business. But the reality is, these immigrants have an economic model and a culture that allows them to succeed and thrive. A lot of them pool money together for businesses, and then they push academic excellence amongst their children. So the children go to school, go to college, and when they get out, they become doctors, lawyers, upper management, high-ranking corporate personnel and stuff like that. And then you wonder why their children are ahead of your children. It's because they push their children to be ahead of your children. You know what I mean? They raise their kids to be your kid's boss. That's really what it is. And so they have a superior economic system, or a superior economic model that allows them to excel. Okay? It's not like what Cerulean is talking about, and so people like Cerulean will base the success of immigrants solely on subsidies, and I've seen leftists do this on another. They'll also make this fallacious comparison when it comes to other aspects as well. But a leftist will look at a wealthy person and they'll say, well, that wealthy person is wealthy because of government subsidies to their business. Okay? Not because of any business strategies or whatever that this person has implemented. Okay? Or how this person has mastered whatever field that they're in. No, he'll just say that, well, they get a subsidy, so that's why they're at where they are, and that is a fallacious argument, and it's not an argument that gives you a full understanding of what's going on in the situation. Okay, but like I said, African Americans do not have a successful economic model. Okay, African Americans typically rely on corporate employment, or they rely on government employment, which a lot of those jobs are now. As African Americans, we're running into competition for a lot of those jobs. A lot of these healthcare jobs, yeah, you can still get really good jobs in that field, in the nursing field, making 80,000 a year and up, and that kind of thing, 100,000 a year. But that field now, you're starting to get more and more other groups encroach on that field now. Filipinos, Hispanics, men. You got a lot of men becoming nurses and stuff now. So what's going to happen when they get up in there and they get a position of power? Do you really think they're going to let black women who are nurses and stuff have the power? No, they're going to want to have the power for themselves. They're going to want to put their own people on. They're going to want to do what's in their best interest. Okay? And that's what you have to look at. These other groups, they have an economic model. They will go into fields where they know they're going to get that bread and get that paper. And once they get in there, they will work, okay, to put their own interest forward. All right? And marching, another thing with ADOS, in these protest movements and stuff like this. Okay, how should I say it? The marching mindset where we try to get sympathy from other groups of people, that's just not going to work. It's not going to work in 2019. Now they have this mindset that, well, if we rally behind ADOS and we do like Cerulean Gray said and go join the military and then refuse to fight if they don't give us reparations, that'll teach them. That'll make them give in to our demands, and it's just not it's not realistic. My thing is this, okay? Their policy, and this is both parties too. Okay, their policy towards African Americans is and always has been benign neglect. Okay, that has been their policy towards the black community. It's been benign neglect. Now, they talk about HR 40 and the whole Shirley Jackson Lee HR 40 is a joke. Jason Black already exposed that. I myself may even make a video on that, how ridiculous it was. But those types of movements, it's a bill that basically puts all the power in the hands of basically other people outside of the black community. That's really what it does. It doesn't empower black people. It doesn't, and I've said this, these the government cannot help niggas. They can't do it. They don't have the will. Okay, they're not gonna do anything or pass any law that does not benefit them. Okay, so all these white politicians in the Congress and stuff and that kind of stuff, if it don't benefit them, if it's not gonna put money in their pockets, they're not gonna go along with it. That's what I say. Any improvement the black community gets, you're gonna have to get that yourself. The Congress is not gonna pass a law for you. They're just not gonna do it. Or if they do, they're gonna try to undermine it. You're going to have to get your own stuff as much as possible and try to exploit the system and use the system as much as possible. But willingly, they're not going to, on their own, just come in and benevolently do this stuff for you. Donald Trump, okay, I know Taz said Donald Trump was the only one that had a black agenda. What's his name? He exposed that to be false. The other brother that debated him, New Possibilities, he exposed that to be false because all of them was saying they was going to do something for niggas. But I guess Trump, he did have a 10-point plan. But then you look at the Trump administration in office, and they've defunded a lot of minority programs, even within the Republican Party itself. They defunded a program that was supposed to help like business owners, minority business owners in the Republican Party. They defunded that. They don't think that kind of stuff is important. Like I said, if it doesn't benefit them, they don't think it's important. It doesn't matter to them. Okay, and quite frankly, it actually takes more money for black people to try to participate in politics than it would take for us to just invest in the infrastructure in our own community and just work within our own community. And then just deal with whoever politician is there, who happens to be there. Okay, this anger towards immigrants, I don't see how that benefits black people. Because like I said, I've seen black people, and I'm from California, okay, and I've seen black people complain about the Mexicans and complain about all these, they coming across the border, man. They coming across the border. They taking our jobs, But I've never seen that sentiment benefit African Americans. I just don't see it. Now, people will say that, black men, I've heard Boyce Watkins say black incarceration, male incarceration increases with immigrants coming in. But the way I interpret that is I go with, I'm a big follower of Mr. Research, and I go with the mindset that black men have to, hire other black men and invest in other black men, okay? If we want to see black men succeed and not get incarcerated and stuff like that. Because no one else is going to do it, okay? The government's not going to do it. You're not going to get no Title IX, like what BGS was talking about. You're not going to get none of that, okay? The only one who's going to help you as a black man is going to have to be you. Okay, now they say, well, black women, they're not investing in the black men. That's because they don't know how. Look, only thing black women know how to do is react to the environment and try to put each other on. That's the only thing they know how to do. Okay, they don't know how to interact with their men in a way, where it's going to benefit them in the long run. They don't know how to do that. Maybe in the future they will learn. Maybe they can learn, okay? But as of right now, they're not like the white women where she looks at her white son and she sees, well, he can potentially give me power in the future. The black women don't look at it like that. Because like I said, she's been conditioned through this leftist mindset. and this, you know, through slavery, having to be the, you know, the pillar of the community and the rock. So she thinks anything that goes down, any power goes down in the community, she's gonna have to build it up. She doesn't understand of hey, you got to invest in your man, and that's going to benefit you in the long run. Sisters are starting to slowly but surely learn that, because these white feminists are fucking them over. Okay, but like I said, it might take a little bit longer. A lot of men are impatient with it, so they swirl in, they leave in, they go in other races, and all that type of thing. You know, but like I said, the anti-immigrant sentiment in and of itself is silly. It doesn't really benefit the black community. If anything, I think black people should be learning how to trade with these immigrants and do commerce with them. Or you can go to their motherfucking countries and do business. I don't see African Americans trying to go to Mexico and do business in Mexico, or trying to go to China and do business in China. I just don't see it. Okay, we're not doing it enough. We should exploit the US dollar as much as possible to benefit off of third world economies, but we are not doing that. That's another thing ADOS isn't talking about. It's not going to tell you how to strategically use the capital that you already have. It's just going to tell you that hey, you need to beg the government to give you capital. You already have capital. Okay, but you don't have a plan of how you want to use that capital, and it's scary. And another scary thing is Shirley Jackson Lee's her page for HR 40 online. It didn't even have a summary, and Jason Black showed they didn't even have a goddamn summary. That shows you how serious that bitch actually is. I told you, these niggas in government, they can't do shit for y'all. It's a joke. Okay, white people will not make you whole. They're not going to make you whole. Okay, anything, like I said, anything Negroes get, any benefit that you get, anything that you get, you're going to have to get that on your own. You're going to have to build that on your own, and then exploit the system to benefit what you're doing. But like I said, going through the normal political channels, you're going to have to be more innovative than that. That was how you did it in the 1960s. This is 2019. You have to be more innovative than that. Okay? They already got their ears perked up for niggas right now. It just is what it is, you know. And I'm going to go ahead and close this one out for now. You know, go and check out my new channel. It's called Black Capitalism. I'm going to start putting some stuff up on that channel as well. But I'm going to start promoting that channel as well. But go check out my new channel. It's called Black Capitalism. Go ahead and subscribe to that. But I'm going to continue to talk about this ADOS thing. Let me know what y'all think. I'm going to try to get y'all another ADOS video soon. Hold on.